So we all know that Donald Trump has said he's obsessed with tariffs. But why is he obsessed with imposing tariffs on Mexico and Canada? After all, there's the US, there's Mexico and Canada. If you think back to his first term, it was mostly China that he was talking about, wasn't it? It was the economic relationship with China. And actually, if you look at what happened with tariffs in that first term, and what's tariff? It's basically just a kind of block, like it's a tax on goods coming into your country. It was China and Vietnam that had the biggest tariffs. The higher these are, the higher the tariffs are. And interestingly, Joe Biden kept those tariffs in place. Vietnam, by the way, because that's used sometimes as a conduit for goods coming from China. But Mexico and Canada, still very low tariffs, and that's because they're part of this free trade agreement in North America. But have a look at this, OK? This is showing you how much is imported from the main trade partners into the US. And this was the case back in 2018. So this is the first Trump administration. China is in the lead, then Mexico, then Canada. Then those tariffs came into play. And have a look at this. That red bar goes down. So less coming in from China, but considerably more coming in from Mexico, and more too coming in from Canada. And one of the things, to talk about that Mexico bar for a second, one of the things that Donald Trump really hates is deficits, when you're basically importing more than you're exporting to a country. And the deficit with Mexico has got bigger and bigger and bigger over time. And if you dig into the numbers, it's not just oil, it's goods, it's things like cars, precisely this kind of thing that the US would like to be making more of. So back to this chart, this map here, okay? So last time around, back in 2018, a lot of the trade from China was going directly into the US. Then those tariffs came into play. And now there's a suspicion that actually a lot of components, instead of going to the US, are going to Mexico and then being assembled into machinery and items and products that are going across the border. That's the suspicion here. And actually, if you look at how many cars are going from China into Mexico, that's been going up and up and up over time. Final thing, what kind of an impact would there be if those tariffs were to come in? Well, 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada. You're talking about a big hit for Canada. The bars are basically showing you how much GDP would go down. A big hit for Mexico as well. But interestingly, look, it's less bad for the US, but it's still bad. And it's negative too, even for the EU and for the rest of the world, underlining something that economists like to point to. Tariffs don't make anyone that much better off.